Voice TV.
Hello viewers, you're most welcome to yet another episode of Soaring with Eagles. We are live on all our Manifest platforms. We're also live on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and tell a friend to tune in right now. My name is Pastor Joy Ninsiima, and today we are privileged to host Dr. Daniel Masaba, a medical doctor, an entrepreneur, and agri-business leader whose journey has inspired many. He boldly transitioned from medicine into agriculture, building a successful enterprise that creates jobs and empowers communities. His story reflects innovation, resilience, and the courage to pursue opportunities beyond transitional career paths. Dr. Masaba, we are delighted to have you on this show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Did I introduce you well?
Oh, yes. I think you did introduce me quite well.
So from stethoscope to agribusiness empire, that must have been a big shift. How long did you have to study for medicine? Did you go to Makerere?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I studied from Makerere. So that would be 5 years of medical school plus 1 year of internship. So 6 years in training.
Yes. So after internship is when you decided that you just wanted to shift into agriculture?
Oh, yes. So after my internship, I had always been quite entrepreneurial.
Okay.
Yeah? And even while in medical school, I started small, little, tiny businesses. But my shift into agriculture wasn't that I intended to shift into agriculture. I just wanted to make an extra income.
Okay.
Yeah. And in trying to discover the information, I decided to go into farming just because I wanted an extra income.
Yes.
Yeah. And so maybe 6 months into my working journey, after working as a doctor, I also started a farm alongside that. Yeah. So that was in early 2019.
Yes.
That's when I started the farm.
Okay.
Yes. So I actually started out doing both medicine and the farm together.
And the farm together.
Yes.
So you felt that you were not going to really earn very much from your
True.
from your medical career.
We all do have dreams and things we want to do. And I mean, again, growing up, I've always been the kind of person who does a lot of research, trying to find out what's out there. And despite the fact that for a lot of people, medical doctors earn quite a lot in Uganda, for me, that didn't feel enough.
The money.
The money, exactly.
Yes.
The doctors earn. It didn't feel enough. So I was always looking for an alternative. What more can I do to be able to get more? And so that's how I decided to go into farming, to be able to earn a bit more.
So do you think that you actually studied medicine in your university because you were just bright? Was it your purpose? Did you ever feel that that's where God had placed you? I mean, I know that you've been born again for quite a while. Or do you feel right now that God has positioned you exactly where you're supposed to be?
From a young age, I've always allowed myself to be driven. Okay. I would say that. Yeah. So I don't ever remember sitting down and telling myself that this is what I want to do in life and this is where I want to be.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know that, things change. Yeah, I could want to do this, but there's a time for everything.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll get done with something, and if I feel that now I'm going to find more purpose and more reason to do something else somewhere else, it's very easy for me to close up, pack, and move. Which is actually the same position I'm in right now. Despite all the success I've had with the farm, if tomorrow I find that I'm going to derive purpose and satisfaction from something else, I'll move on. There's nothing stopping me.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, back to your question, I didn't choose to do medicine because I wanted to become a doctor. No. I chose to do medicine because I felt like that's the best thing I could do at that moment.
That moment, yes. I mean, you were bright in school, I'm sure.
Exactly.
So, of course, if you're doing the science subjects, the first choice will be medicine.
It's like you are me at that moment, because that was me.
Exactly.
You know, I chose to do medicine just because I could do it.
Yes,
I had the brains to be able to do it, but not really because I wanted to be a doctor so badly. So in all, you know, descriptions, I would say I wasn't sure of what I wanted to be, but I was ready to do anything. Yeah.
So when people hear your story, what is the biggest misconception they have about your journey?
The biggest misconception people do have is that it has been smooth and that anyone can do it. Yeah. Because I'm on social media a lot.
Okay.
And because of that, I interact with a lot of people all around the world, not only in Uganda, who want to start funds. And I can't tell you the number of people who reach out to me every day telling me that, you know, they want to do what I want, what I'm doing,
what you're doing,
and they want to be like me. But every time I think about it, they're not ready to pay the price of what it takes to do that. Yeah. So I wouldn't say it's difficult, but it has a price to pay. Yeah. And that's quite a big thing that people never think about. But once you start the path, you actually realize that there's a lot, you know, that there's a big price to pay for the success. Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about the price that you have to pay? What have you had to pay to be who you are today?
Oh yes. So one of them is just choosing to leave medical practice, because right now I don't practice as a doctor.
Yes.
Yeah. So I only practiced as a doctor for 2.5 years.
So you still have the certificate, or
what
do they give you?
Yeah, I mean, when someone becomes a doctor, there's two things.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have a license.
A license.
Yeah, like I would say a registration.
Okay.
And then you have a license. So there's you register and you're given like a number, a serial number for to say that Dr. Daniel Masaba is a qualified doctor in Uganda. But then you have an annual practicing license that you have to renew every year. So I do have the original registration, but I don't have the license.
You've never renewed your license
since I don't practice.
You're not interested.
Exactly.
Okay. So tell us a bit about your upbringing. What values shaped the person you've become today?
Yes. So my upbringing, I would say, I wasn't really raised up in the very best or in the richest of families. I would say perfectly the best family, but not in the richest of families. And I believe that played a very huge role in what I turned out to be, because I grew up without entitlement. Yeah. And
that's good.
I knew that my parents could not afford a lot of things. I was blessed to go to one of the very best schools in the country. But
what school is that?
King's College, Buddha.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, but someone paid for my tuition, not my parents.
Oh.
Yeah. And that, number one, created a lot of, you know, this willingness to give, because someone gave to me without even knowing me. Yeah. But
why? How come they didn't know you? Well, was this someone from another country?
Yeah. Well, there was someone from my school.
Yes.
Because what happened is that I got very good grades. I got an aggregate 4.
Okay.
And I was admitted to Budo, but I didn't show up. And I didn't come from the very best of schools.
Yes.
So the school looked for me. Budo looked for me.
Wow.
And when they found out I couldn't afford the tuition, they connected with someone from the school.
Yes.
Yeah, but in the diaspora. Who offered to pay the tuition. So they paid my tuition for the 6 years that I was in secondary school. And being in there exposed me to a lot of things. Yeah, you see all the children who have everything.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, and I saw the entitlement a lot of people can actually have. And I told myself I'll never be like this.
Yeah.
It also told me, because from that moment I learned that, you know, these people, a lot of them don't realize that what they have is not theirs. They have to make what's theirs.
But they just don't know.
I know. And at that point, we're actually at a level playing field. They just don't know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so because of that, I told myself that I will forge my path. I will let myself forge my path. And I won't let what people think and what the world thinks shape me. Yeah. So that upbringing brought me up in such a way that I'm willing to do what it takes, yeah, to get the results that I do believe in. Yes.
So as a young boy, what did you dream of becoming?
Again, as a young boy, I never dreamed of being anything. I mean, when I was really young, I wanted to become a pilot. Like really young.
Yes.
But as I grew up,
like most boys.
Exactly.
Yes.
But as I grew up, I noticed I don't want to be a pilot.
Yes.
But I didn't really want to be anything, because the other thing about me is that when I do something for a long time, especially things that don't involve creating something, yeah, I get bored. And I don't derive satisfaction. So I personally don't love running things. I love creating things, building new things. That's what I personally do love. So again, I didn't really dream of being anything, but I was ready to become anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So, of course, a question that I would have liked to ask, why did you choose medicine? You've already answered.
Sure.
It was really just because you were bright.
Yeah, medicine chose me, maybe. I didn't choose it.
Yeah, medicine chose you.
Yeah.
So what lessons from medical school still guide your business decisions today?
Quite a number of lessons. And some of them, I would say, are more tactical, and the others are more, knowledge-based.
Yes.
One of them is the fact that medicine is a really difficult course. Yeah.
It is.
It is a very difficult course. And whilst going through it, you have to brace yourself. I mean, you have to keep encouraging yourself to get done with it. Because there's so much to study, so many difficult things, but you have to go through it.
Right.
Yeah. And that just shapes you as a person as you grow up, because it's the same thing you're going to find as a doctor, as a farmer or as a business person. So a lot of difficult things that you have to brave yourself and go through.
Right.
But on the more, technical bit of things, a lot of principles in human medicine are the same in agriculture. Yeah, because I mean, this is life we are dealing with. So when a chicken, for example, earlier on in my earlier years, when I still used to do a lot of running with the farm in terms of day-to-day running, there's a lot of knowledge I used to borrow from medicine, from human medicine, to put into the chickens that I would say any other person who didn't probably do that wouldn't. Yeah. And a lot of people actually think that I'm a vet doctor. Yeah. Because on a lot of occasions, because I'm very curious, I understand a lot of these principles, and on many times even more than vet doctors. So a lot of people will actually think I'm a vet doctor. But those principles of medicine have actually helped me a lot when it does come to the farm. Yeah.
Wow. So were there signs early in your life that you had an entrepreneurial mindset?
Oh, yes, I can say that. Yeah, because like I've said, I mean, when I was at the university, because that's when I would say I started like my first businesses. I started quite a few businesses. When I was at the university, I got my very first laptop. And like I've said, my parents didn't really have money. And I was doing a government course. I was sponsored by the government. But then, but I still needed stuff to live at the university.
Exactly.
So I had to find ways of getting this money, because I remember you'd be going back to the semester and your father gives you 30,000 shillings to take you through the entire semester. What are you supposed to do with that? Yeah. So since I had a laptop, I learned graphic designing. I taught myself graphic designing. So I used to literally design all the campaign posters on the university, take them to Nassau Road, print them, make money. Every time that people have some form of like beach bash or something like that, I was the one designing the posters.
Yes.
Yeah. And then after that, I started designing stickers. I would design, bumper stickers.
Yes, yes.
And then as soon as lectures get done in Mulago, I would run to main campus, put them on the streets, and I'm selling them. Yeah. And then on Sundays.
Where were you selling them?
On the streets of the campus.
Of the campus?
Yes, on the streets of the campus. So next to the small gate.
Yes, the university.
Yeah, the university small gate.
Yes, yes.
I would put them there. These days I think they don't allow vendors there, but I mean, those days they would. So I'll put it right there, and people are going for lectures and coming by, they pass by, so that's how I survived. And then I would also take them to churches on Sunday. So I would like early on Sunday morning, I would take them to all these different churches, Watoto, Miracle Center, and all these things. give the people who sell Bibles. They sell them for me in the evening. I pick them and get a commission, give them a commission, sorry. So, I mean, there were signs right earlier on.
In your life that you really had an entrepreneurship mindset.
Sure.
So then, of course, after that is when you then delved into the agriculture business.
In the end, it's all the same principles. You know, entrepreneurship is all the same principles.
Yes.
Being placed in just different sectors, but it's all the same thing. Yeah.
What were some of the struggles you faced before success became visible? Because, of course, yes, you're seeing success today, but there must have been challenges along the way.
Sure. So some of the problems was that I think when I started out, I didn't have a lot of knowledge, with what I was doing. I was very driven and I tried my best to get as much knowledge as possible. But because of that, I made some decisions. For example, I started too bigger than I should have.
Where did you get the capital from, may I ask?
Yeah, so I got the capital from my job as a doctor. Oh, yeah?
And you were able to start big?
Yeah, I mean, I would say comparatively big. I wouldn't really call it big. I mean, right now, it's so many times.
Yes.
But I started big. I started with 800 chickens. Now, a lot of people, when I tell them 800 chickens,
they're like,
that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I started with 800 chickens. And because of that, I miscalculated. I thought I would need this amount of money. For example, I thought a kilogram of maize was 600 shillings. When I started, it was 1,300, more than double.
The maize to feed the chickens.
It was more than double.
Yes.
And so what that meant is that I struggled a lot. For the first few months, I would...
Did the chickens survive?
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
but
that's good, because I hear lots of stories of people starting... they take care of chickens, but they wake up in the morning and they've all died.
Yeah, I tried my best to avoid that, but I mean, I had to go some days without meals, a lot of times. Yeah, so you can imagine you're earning, because at that time, I think all my salary put together was about maybe 3-point-something million. But with that, I would probably spend 1,000 or 2,000 shillings on myself every day.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a lot of sacrifice. I had to borrow money from a lot of people, a lot of times, until the farm became productive. That was, one of the toughest things that I faced initially. Another one was, the public perception of what I was doing. Yeah, because again, people are like, a doctor,
then you
raising chickens. Right now, I feel like it's much more acceptable because there's a lot of people doing it. Again, when you go on the internet. But when I started out, there was not a lot of people on the internet. I think a few months after me starting the farm, maybe a year later, after me starting the farm, I went online and started sharing my story. And I would have a lot of feedback of people who don't believe in what I'm doing. Yeah. So there's that mental torture of, I wouldn't call it torture.
You're even doubting, did I make the right choice?
I mean, in the end, I'm quite resilient when it comes to what people think about me. Yeah?
Oh, you're resilient.
Yeah, I'm very, very resilient, and I don't really care. Yeah, but still, you'll have people reaching out to you, and you have to deliberately tell yourself to ignore them. Yeah, and any other person, a lot of other people would easily have given up in such circumstances. Yeah, so those are a bit of difficulties that I faced in there, as I grew up, and maybe a few more things that people. You see, again, like I've said, I consider myself very resilient. And because of that, there's a lot of things that I personally don't find as problems that a lot of people do find as problems. Yeah, like, having to borrow and you have people on your back calling you the whole time. And, it can be quite tough, but it's part of life.
It's part of life.
Yeah, sure.
So was there ever a point when you doubted yourself or your future?
Never.
You never did?
No, I never did.
Was that because of your faith?
Yes. I mean, because of a lot of things, Principally because of the faith, because I believe it's at the foundation of anything.
Yes.
But also, I sit down, I personally study a lot of people. And I sit down and I'm like, I mean, let's say there's 100 farms in Uganda. If only 2 or 3 can make it, why can't I be amongst the 2 or 3? I mean, why should I be amongst the 98? I can't be amongst the 3. Yeah. So as long as there's proof of concept, only one person needs to make it for me to believe that it's possible. Yeah. So I never really doubted myself because I could clearly see that there are people who have made it. So why shouldn't I make it?
Why shouldn't you make it?
Exactly. Yeah.
So while many doctors focus safely on medicine, they find it a safe space. What made you look elsewhere?
Yeah. That's very, very interesting. Because, and it's not only doctors. I think it's all, I would say, brilliant people.
Yes.
Yeah, people who are very brilliant in school.
Yes.
It's very difficult for them to start businesses. And if they do, it's very difficult for them to thrive. Because, you see, growing in school, for example, I was in school and I was always amongst the best people in class. I'm so used to success. I'm so used to getting the best of everything. And so when they go to start a business, they want to start something where they're 100% certain they're going to succeed, which is the case with being employed. Because if you're employed, you just
know at the end of the month you're going to get your big check, your paycheck.
Exactly. I just need to do my job well,
right,
and I'm going to get paid. What's my reward? The payment.
Exactly.
Plain and simple. When it does come to business and entrepreneurship, it's so risky. There's a very high chance that you're going to fail. Yeah. And the people who didn't get very good grades in school are used to failure. For them, failure is normal. Yes. I mean, if I get an F, I'll try again next time. I'll try again the other time. So even when they do start a business, they don't think about it as, okay, I'm going to save my 20, 30 million, invest it, and I'll lose it.
Right.
They'll be like, I'll lose it, I'll start again. The doctor will be like, I lose 30 million, no way, I can't even think about that. Yeah. So because of that, it's so difficult for them to take such risks and decisions.
Right.
But for me, I've always been open-minded.
Yes.
Yeah, and like I've said, I'm like, I mean, if I fail, it's okay. I can always start again. That's why I was very okay with going that route.
Okay. So what problem were you trying to solve? Because I'm sure there was a problem you're trying to solve when you started your first business venture.
Yeah, that's also a very interesting question. Because when I started out, I didn't think of poultry farming when I was starting. I started farming because I went into farming because I wanted to do greenhouse farming. So, growing tomatoes in greenhouses.
Yes, I've heard about that.
Yes. So what happened is that I had been reading books about businesses to start in Africa.
Okay.
And so I found this book and I zeroed down on greenhouse farming because I knew that, these greenhouse vegetables are not common and they're expensive. For example, if you want to deliver tomatoes for making salads to Sheraton, they don't just use the normal tomatoes.
Oh, really? They don't? They make sure they're from greenhouse?
Yes, they have to be like a particular grade of tomatoes. If you want to grow, let's say, lettuce that you're going to eat at Cafe Java's, it's not just grown randomly. You understand? Okay. So that was what I wanted to do.
Yes.
But then I met an expert at greenhouse farming, had a conversation with him, and at the end of the conversation, he told me that I think poultry farming would be better for you. So that's how I actually ended up switching. But for me, initially, when I wanted to start, I mean, that was the initial gap, a gap in quality vegetables in greenhouse farming. Yeah.
So I don't know whether you'll be comfortable with this question. How much capital did you start with, and how difficult was it for you to raise it?
Yeah, I started with about 10, 11 million. That's the initial amount I used to build the first chicken house that I built. And by the time the birds started to lay, the first batch of chickens, I had invested about maybe 30 something million. Now but of course, at that point I was working, using my salary to feed the birds.
Yes.
And also I borrowed some money from some people. Yeah, so 30 something million. How hard was it? I wouldn't say it was very hard because it was my salary. The only thing is that I had to sacrifice my life. I missed a lot of meals. So I don't know if you'd call that hard. I don't really think that's hard because a lot of people can go without meals, honestly. Yeah, so I wouldn't call that hard. I mean, it's a sacrifice I had to make. And then maybe the harder bit was having to borrow money from people because, like I've told you, like in the 4th month, before the birds started to lay, in the last 1 month, I didn't have money to feed the birds because they were eating way more than what I was earning. Yeah. So I had to talk to friends and, borrow money and ask to pay them later.
Yes.
And I'd say that was a bit tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I managed to make it.
You managed?
Yeah.
That's good. So what were your family's and colleagues' reactions when you entered farming?
My parents, no reaction at all.
That's interesting.
Yeah. My parents didn't have any reaction at all. Like they were like, "It's okay. You want to do it? Go ahead and do it." My friends.
Anyway, they didn't pay.
Yeah. I mean, my parents.
They didn't pay.
You can't say they didn't pay because they paid for the primary school.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I think they would have felt more of a pinch all the years you were in Budo. They were not paying, and then of course you went to university that was government sponsored, so they were like, go ahead, do what you want.
I think it depends more on someone's character, because for me, for example,
yes,
if I trained my daughter, because I do have children, if I took my daughter to whichever the best, even if it's to Harvard, and they graduated and told me I want to do this instead, be like, go ahead and do it.
They want to go into photography.
Exactly. Let them go and do it. They want to print and sign posts and whatever. Let them go and do it. Wow. I believe in that. Yeah. Yes. So I believe. I mean, my parents are like that. I can imagine. Yeah. Because I don't ever remember my father questioning me on any decision I ever made, unless they really thought it was terrible. Yeah. So I mean, by terrible, I mean like something that we can all objectively say it's terrible. For example, drinking and driving is terrible. We all know that. Yeah. But if it's something that's subjective and they think that I just have a different point of view from theirs, they have no problem with that. Yeah.
Interesting. And your colleagues?
My colleagues.
Because remember, these are your peers.
Yeah.
They've all gone to Makerere. Some are doing law, some are doing medicine.
Exactly. Some of them are doctors.
Right.
I mean, I had interesting responses from a lot of them. A lot of them, because of the kind of path, kept telling me, Daniel, you need to go back to school. Yeah. And then they'll tell me,
What do you mean you need to go back to school? Do a master's or something?
Yeah, do a master's in something. They're like, okay, I understand you've started the farm and the business, but you can't just stay there. You need to at least go back to school, because what if something happens? Yeah. You need to
have a fallback.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And then a lot of them would tell me, okay, I know you're doing farming. At least have some form of document in farming. You understand? Some form of farming document.
Go and do some course or something.
Yeah, they believe so much in the formal path and way of life. That's what a lot of people do believe in. Yeah. So that was feedback I got. I do have my beliefs, and I'm very strong on my beliefs.
Your beliefs,
because before they don't just come. I sit down and study them and think about them deeply. And if it's a belief I do have, it has been built over time. So it's very difficult to move me unless you've properly informed me for me to think about it and ponder.
Yes.
So because of that, of course, I didn't really care much about it and think about what they said. But they had opinions.
Yeah, they had their opinions. Yeah. Yes. So, Doctor, we have to go into a break right now. So, viewers, we'll be back after this break.
If luxury had a face, would it wear diamonds or a knowing smile? The kind that says, yes, this was made for me. If luxury had a voice, it would sound like choice. The quiet confidence of, me, I want it like this. And the joy of seeing it exactly like that. If luxury had a face, maybe it would look like home. Maybe it would look like you. From Milan to Kampala, luxury is here. Luxury has arrived.
Did you know you can start investing with as low as 100,000 Ugandan shillings? At BIK Capital Limited, we help you earn an average annual return of 15% while ensuring your money remains accessible whenever you need it. We are a licensed investment company with a team of seasoned professionals that specialize in low-risk and high-return investment journeys. Our products include government treasury bills, bonds, ETFs and equities, tailored to make your investment journey easy and efficient. BIK Capital is your partner for wealth, growth and investments.
Meet Moses. He invests in dollars, but here's the smart part. His dollars don't just sit there. They're out there making more dollars for him. He can take a break, but make or break, his dollars never rest. They're out there hustling for him 24/7, even when he's asleep, halfway through his dreams. Save your dollars with Britam Easy Earn a Dollar and earn competitive interest in 3, 6 and 12 months. Call us today on 0312 305 600 or email clientservicesug@britam.ug and let more dollars start rolling in.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Soaring with Eagles, and we're live on all our Manifest platforms. We're also live on YouTube. My guest today is Dr. Masaba, who's been telling us about how he first was a medical doctor but transitioned into poultry farming. So, Dr. Masaba, what were the key turning points that accelerated your growth?
Yeah, so the key turning point for me was actually, I would call it a tragic one. It was the death of my mother, which happened in 2022.
Sorry.
Yeah. And I remember at that point, she died when she was quite young. She gave birth to me when she was 17. Yeah.
How old was she?
50.
Oh.
Yeah. So at that point,
Yes.
I had a lot of these things that I had planned to do for her. Yeah. And I kept pushing them away.
Yes.
Because I had these dreams I was chasing and things that I needed to do. Yeah. And after that point, when she passed on, I was so sad because I kept regretting. I was like, I should have done this. I should have done this. I wish I had done this. I should have done this for my mother. And at that point, someone comforted me because I was talking to someone, and they comforted me and they told me, when parents are raising children, they don't really care what the children are going to give them. They only care about giving. Yeah. So I shouldn't feel bad because to my mother, whatever I was to give her doesn't matter to her. And she's so glad that she saw me grow, become a doctor, become successful. Right. And she went when she was very fulfilled. I was like, whoa, that's actually quite interesting. So then my perspective of life moved from doing what I think will please others to actually doing what I believe will bring fulfillment. Because I noticed in the end, that's the whole goal, purpose and fulfillment. Exactly. That became for me the biggest driver in my life. So when that did happen, it became much, much easier for me to make decisions in the business because I didn't care what someone thinks. I didn't care what everyone else thinks. I didn't care, what other people think. Only what matters to me and God, is what matters. And so it became easier for me to be bold on my decisions.
Right.
And I would say I even became much more invested. Yeah, because I could do everything with all the courage. Yeah, so I believe that was a turning point.
A turning point in your life.
Yeah, that completely flipped everything around for me. Because between 2019 and 2022, my farm grew, but very minimally.
Yes.
But after that, the growth has been crazy. Yeah.
What's the growth like?
By then...
From what to what?
Yeah, so between 2019 and 2022, I grew from 750 to 2,000 birds. From 2022 till now, I've grown from 2,000 birds to 17,000 birds. Yeah, so big growth in addition to other things that I'm doing.
So what kind of land are you on? Are you on the outskirts of Kampala? Are you?
Yes. So the farm is quite far away, 220 kilometers from Kampala. That's in Bali. Yeah, and over the years, I've acquired quite an amount of land. I think put together, it's probably about close to 40 acres. Oh, yes.
Okay. So what role has innovation played in your business?
Oh, yes, a very, very, very big role. Yeah. So initially starting out, one of the first things I did was to share my story. And the main reason I wanted to share my story was because personally starting out, it was difficult to get information. And so I thought for those who are going to start, it will be so much easier for them to get information if I share my story. Now, I don't need to be an expert, but just telling them what I'm going through is enough for them to get learning points from. So because of that, I started sharing my story. And so I became quite good with sales, marketing, and the internet and using all these things. And they've actually turned out to play a very huge role in the success of the business because number one, it's so easy for me to get market. I produce everything on demand. I don't have problems with demand for things. In addition to that, I've also been able to develop other businesses because of that. Yeah. For example, I do have an online academy where I train people all around the world how to start and build poultry farms, which actually brings me quite a significant amount of money.
Okay.
And in addition to that, of course, there's a YouTube channel, and YouTube itself does pay. But, you know, there are people who will be coming to you asking to advertise for them and things like that. And if the deal is worth it, I do take it. And I'm also moving into agritourism. Yeah, so
what's agritourism?
So agritourism is where you have people doing tourism, but for agricultural reasons. So I have land in some really beautiful places. For example, in Kabale, right on the lake, on Lake Bunyonyi, which is a very touristy place. But then I'm setting up a place over there where I can like have chickens, some cattle, some goats and sheep, and then you will have people who have families, and the children have no idea how a chicken is raised.
Oh, so they want to come
and experience it. They'll come feed the chickens. They'll come, for example, they'll come and they're like, okay, we want to do a barbecue, let's say mutton. And then they'll choose the sheep right there. We slaughter it. They see how a sheep is slaughtered and we barbecue it right there. So that's something that's coming up, quite common in a lot of other places. And it's something that I'm moving into.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. How important is systems thinking in agriculture?
Probably the most important thing. Yeah. Because when it does come to, and it is with any kind of business, because personally, I don't need to physically be present at the farm for it to run. Yeah. And if you don't have systems set up for that, that's not going to happen. A lot of people have this saying that with a farm, if you're not present, you're finished. Yeah. But that's not true. Because if you set in place the right systems, people do believe systems work for a lot of other things, but they don't think they work for farms. I don't know why. If you set in place the right systems, I personally can travel away from the country for a month or two, and the farm is still running properly, very efficiently. Yeah. So it's important. It helps you in, number one, monitoring the cash flow and everything. It helps you with proper hiring and training staff on the farm. It just makes everything easy. Yeah, so it's so important.
So what lessons can farmers learn from your approach?
Well, first, you need to approach the farm holistically. Yeah, and don't just think about, for example, raising chickens. Yeah, I mean, someone might start a farm and the only thing they think about is looking after the chickens themselves. No, you have to think about the marketing aspect of it and how you're going to deal with it. I thought about that way before I started, and that's why I personally also decided to start a YouTube channel, because I knew this would play a role, and all this social media in the success of the farm. I started systems because I knew that I'm probably going to do other things and I'm not going to physically need to be present at the farm all my life. So because of that, I need to, think of setting in place systems and things like that. Then I thought about, for example, how to have the right staff on the farm, because, I mean, people are human beings. Yeah. And if you look after them well and deal with them well, they're going to deal with you properly. Yeah. So it's very important that you look at the farm holistically and not just you feeding chickens and selling eggs.
Yes, you have to go. You have to go into the social media, and market it well. And then you said, of course, systems have to be in place. So how do you manage risk in an industry vulnerable to disease outbreaks and market fluctuations?
Yeah. So when it does come to risk, I mean, you just have to do the most that you can do to minimize the risk. For example, in 2021, I got a disease outbreak that wiped out about half of my flock. I actually had to sell off that entire flock because it was sick. It was a loss, a very big loss. I think I lost about maybe 60 million or so in that flock. And because of that, I learned a lot. So right now,
you said you sold the sick off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you do. You do. I mean, when they are sick, people come and buy them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and slaughter them.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
They're still fine to eat.
Yeah, that's fine to eat because they're going to cook them.
Okay.
Yeah, we slaughter them. Yeah. So when I did, I had to put in place the toughest measures. For example, I don't allow visitors at my farm. Never.
Oh.
Yes. So all my trainings are online.
Okay.
So I don't allow visitors to my farm. It doesn't matter how much money you're giving me. I don't. I have people who want to come from all around the world to come and do physical visits at my farm. I don't.
So you're protecting your chickens?
Exactly. Protecting the chickens because the risk is very high. Yeah, because chickens are not like cows.
Yes.
They easily contract disease, and when they do, in 3 days you could have 90% of the flock dead.
Of them dead. That's
exactly
true. That's very true.
So those are some of the things that I had to put in place.
So how has entrepreneurship changed you as a person?
It has made me so happy. It has made me so happy because number one, I know that I can empower other people to start and build. Number two, I also know that I can do way more because the ceiling, for example, I earn way more than what I used to earn as a doctor. Because of that, I initially told you how someone paid my tuition growing up. Yeah. And I told myself that's something I would do. Now that's something that's so easy for me to do right now. Yeah, I can get random people that I want to pay tuition for and pay tuition for them because it's easy for me. I mean, even if you want to do particular things, it's so hard if you don't have money. Yeah. So because it has enabled me to have way more, it makes it easy for me to give back.
Give back to society.
Yeah.
So what leadership lessons have been the hardest to learn?
I think one of them is that you just have to let go of some people.
You have to fire some.
Yeah, you have to fire, and you have to understand that not everyone is going to be on the same wavelength with you, and you just can't work with everyone. Yeah, some people you have to let them go. And get other people, and sometimes it might be painful, but you just have to do it.
You have to do it. Yeah. So how do you attract and retain talented people?
What I know is that if what you do is good and people know that what you do is good and you're good at what you do, everyone wants to work with you.
Yes.
So I actually just keep talented people away from me. They keep running towards me.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm so good at what I do.
Yes.
Yes.
So you're able to retain them?
Oh, yes. I'm able to, first of all, get them. And then retaining them is really easy because what most people do require is number one, growth. Both financially and, with whatever they are doing. And number one, treating them like they're humans. Actually, that's even more important than growth. Yeah, treating them like they're humans. For example, at the farm, I'll give them a good place to stay, give them food, give them DSTV to watch football, give them, things like that. If they feel like you care about them, they will care about you. So it's quite easy.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
So how do you make difficult decisions when livelihoods depend on you?
Oh, yes. I mean, you just have to make those decisions because in the end, the most important thing is the interests of the business, not my interests.
The interests of the business.
Because the business is what's keeping all of us here.
Right.
Yeah. And if we don't work in the interests of the business, we all will not be here. Yeah. So if someone at the farm is not doing what they're supposed to do, then what's going to happen is that the farm is going to stop being profitable. Then I will have to close the farm and they will go. Yeah. So what do? I let them go. So if they can't, I mean, I do employ adults, and I do believe if someone is an adult,
they should know better.
Exactly. They need to know what they're doing. They're not like a child who you beg to do something. An adult should know what they're doing. And I always tell them that I don't I don't lead my team with a rod. No, because these are adults. Their brains work. Yeah. So I will warn you once, twice, and if you can't listen, I let you go. Get someone in. Luckily enough, I have so many people who want to work with me. Yeah. So that's what I do.
Yes. So what habits contribute most to your success?
Willingness to learn. Yeah. That's very, very important, because there's always new information coming in from left, right, and center. But number two, being free, not caring what people think.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that has been, I've been saying this right from the beginning. I believe that's been such a huge thing in my life that has led me to where I am right now. Not caring what people think will make it so easy for you to thrive, because in reality, people don't actually care. No, they don't. You feel like
they do, but they don't.
Yeah, you feel like they do, but they don't, because everyone is thinking about their problems with whatever is happening in their life.
That's very
so when you look at them, you might think like they're looking at you, but they actually don't. If you ask them the next day or the other day, they won't even have an idea what you're talking about. Yeah, so I believe that's very important.
It's true. So why do you think many educated professionals struggle financially despite having good careers?
That's it. I think I talked about it. They're not willing to take the risk. Yeah, because education usually comes with such, being at the top. Yeah, and yet, entrepreneurship and financial reward is all about risk. In life, the riskier something is, the more financially rewarding. Think about robbing a bank. Probably one of the most rewarding things. You'll do it in 1 hour and you're the richest person.
And
so risky.
So risky, yes.
Understand?
Yes.
Or smuggling cocaine.
You're right.
Yeah. So usually the bigger the risk, the more rewarding. Now, of course, you're not going to be robbing a bank or something like that. But again, their jobs much more secure. They're not as risky.
Yes, they're in the comfort zone.
Exactly. But that has a cap of how much you can earn. So if you want to earn way more, you have to be willing to take the risk, which is not something they're willing to do. Yeah.
So what opportunities are young Ugandans overlooking today?
AI, by far.
They're overlooking AI?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I personally believe AI is going to... People don't even understand what's coming with AI. I feel like the change that's going to happen is unbelievable.
Okay.
Currently, for example, at my farm, initially, because I record all the expenses at the farm and everything, like all the bookkeeping that I used to do before, because I have a lot of books to keep at the farm, a lot of expenses, a lot of everything. All that is now done by AI. Yeah. The guys at the farm just need to drop everything in a WhatsApp group. And the AI tools pick them from there every day, put them into the relevant documentation, and submit them to the accountant.
Ooh.
Only to do the returns at the end of the year. They don't even need to keep checking them every month. You understand? If my birds are not performing well right now, in the past, I would need to go down and study the information. Right now, the people who take care of the respective houses just need to collect the data, drop it somewhere for me. It automatically goes into an AI tool, which tells me exactly which flock is underperforming, and it gives me suggestions on why it could be underperforming. Yeah. And all that is work that was being done by people in the past. Yeah. So a lot is going to change. And if people can grasp, and if that's happening in something that's more conventional like farming, imagine something like medicine, which is probably more information based, or something like law, where someone just needs to peruse files. So easy for AI to finish all your jobs. Yeah. So the one thing I would advise people is, just become an AI geek right now. It's amazing.
Become an AI.
It's going to make you so much money, actually. Because, for example, in Uganda, most people don't even have an idea what AI can do. So the only thing you need to know is learn what it can do. Go and ask them to offer them the opportunity to do the things that AI can do that they don't know. They will give you the job, you'll get the results, and you'll make the money. Plain and simple.
Wow. Wow. Is agriculture still one of the biggest wealth creation opportunities in Africa?
100%, because, even with everything that's coming up, we are all still going to need to eat food. And the population keeps increasing.
Yes.
So, very big wealth opportunity.
Right. The president is always talking about it anyway.
Yeah.
So we need to talk about What would you say to a doctor, lawyer, teacher, or engineer who wants to start a business but is afraid?
Just start. Because, I mean, the other thing that I personally learned with life is that most of our fears never come to pass.
Yes.
Most of our fears, they never come to pass. Because of evolution, the way we evolved as human beings is it was survival for the fittest. Yeah. It was about you either survive or die. Yeah. But right now things have changed. Yeah. We're not at the danger of dying every day. Yeah. But we still have that instinct of survive or die. It's an evolutionary thing that has come in. Yeah. So most of the things that you think actually are going to happen are not going to happen. So just give it a try. Yeah, just get out there, try it.
Get out there.
Yeah.
Get out of the boat.
Exactly. Go outside, try it. If it doesn't work, I mean, people keep telling me, and they're like, what would you think? Like, what if the farm failed? It's like, if it failed, I would go back and work as a doctor. Simple.
Yes.
But it's been so many years, it hasn't failed. But imagine I'd stopped because I kept thinking, what if I failed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
If it fails, you do the next best thing.
Yes.
But you can't be there thinking about what could happen.
What if?
Just go and do it. Then you'll deal with the problem when you get to the problem. Yeah.
So what role should government and private sector play in supporting agribusiness?
I personally do believe that the government I feel like it has done enough. Honestly, when it does come to agriculture, they're offering a lot of these opportunities. And personally, I feel like the biggest limitation for us is ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah. I personally, I haven't gotten any benefits from the government. There's a lot of these agricultural benefit government programs.
Yes.
I personally haven't been involved in any of them, and I've gotten to where I am.
Yes.
Yeah, because of who I am and what I believe in and what I can do. Yeah, remember at the beginning I told you that I believe that I can forge my path. Yeah.
Yes.
So if someone is just willing to put in the work and work towards it, it's actually quite easy. Yeah. So I believe people need to stop putting their mind and thoughts on what the government can do, on what this can do. I believe the path is so open for us to actually go outside there and start and do things.
All right. So where do you see African agriculture in the next 10 years?
Oh, it's getting really big. You see, the thing about agriculture in, like, for example, Europe, North America, South America, is that it's industrialized. You don't find small farmers. It's big farmers. And that's what's going to happen here too. Yeah. Because what happens is that the small scale farmers slowly get marginalized. I'll give you a quick example. If, for example, we are selling eggs, we are all selling the eggs at the same price. Now, what's going to make the difference is the price at which I raise the chickens, the cost. And a bigger farmer, it's easier for them to raise their birds at a smaller cost. Yeah. And then number two, if a bigger farmer is not making profit, it's easy for them to drop their price because they'll still make some profit.
Exactly.
And that 100% kills the small farmer. Yeah. So with time, we're going to have way more big farmers, and the smaller ones who are starting out, it will be much, much more difficult for them to start or thrive. But the industry generally is going to grow.
It's going to grow.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had the opportunity to speak to every young African for just 1 minute, because we've come to the end of the show, what would you tell them about success, purpose, and building a life of significance?
Wow. That's something I've been thinking about so much recently. Yeah. And the one thing that I've personally learned is that success is not dependent on your financial standing, because you could make all the money in the world, but that will never make you happy. The more important thing is to define what success means for you. Yeah. And you need to sit down and tell yourself, because a lot of people have sat down and think that money will make you happy.
Which it doesn't.
Yeah. The interesting thing about money is that statement, people will never understand it until you actually have money. Yeah. If you tell someone money doesn't make you happy, they're like, what are you talking about? I mean, I have this problem that requires money, and this problem, and all these things are stressing me out. But it's until you actually make money and you still do have problems that you realize that money will actually not make you happy. Exactly. Yeah. So we need to understand what happiness actually means to us. I got to that point, and despite the fact that I'm still chasing a lot of growth, for me, I discovered that creativity and starting new things is the purpose for me. So that inevitably comes with money, but I don't live my life at a level where I'm finding satisfaction and joy from money and from the things that money can bring. Because, for example, a lot of people ask me that, why do you have a small house? You know, you could have a much bigger house. Why do you, why don't you have this and this and this? And I'm like, I don't care. I don't want those things. I don't really care about them. Yeah. In the end, I've found the thing that gives me joy and fulfillment, and I'm doing that. Yeah. Right. And once you do that, then the pursuit for whatever you're doing. For example, it's much more easy for me right now to make more money.
Yes.
Because I don't care about making money. Yeah. And that's one thing that everyone needs to realize. It's so difficult because, like I said, most people will only realize it once they make money. Yet, most people are actually going to die without making money. So most people are actually going to die unfulfilled because they never get to the point where they realize that money doesn't make you happy. But if you can, and if you can sit down and think about it, and realize that point before, then you'll be a much, much happier person. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Masaba. I think the viewers have been very inspired. I personally have been very inspired by this conversation today, and I know they're inspired and I know they've learned a lot. Now, you talked about a YouTube channel. You talked about how you're very visible on social media. Yeah. Can you share some of those channels for those who might feel they would like to connect with you?
Yes. So on all the social media platforms, it's Farm Up UP.
Okay.
And then for Twitter or X, it's Dr. Masaba Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
It's a pleasure.
So viewers, I would like to thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, may the Lord bless you, expand your territories and borders, lay his hand upon you and keep you far away from evil. Bye-bye.